A very lethargic start for the Utah Jazz is more than they can overcome. Some resolve late gives us some highlights to talk about, but the Jazz fall to the Pelicans by 13 in New Orleans, and POSTCAST is next.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Utah Jazz lose to the New Orleans Pelicans 136-123. Jazz trailed by 26 in the first quarter after a super slow start. They then worked their way back into the ballgame after trailing by 20 at the end of one for the second time all year. They cut it all the way down to 9 after outscoring the Pelicans 30-19. They had cut it to 6 at one point in that quarter. But then the third quarter start was another lethargic, kind of lifeless grouping by the Jazz starters tonight, and then the game really never got close. They got down to 9 at one point, but never after that. So the really easy runaway win for the Pelicans. We'll do this again Monday. A little fun shenanigans between Isaiah Collier and Jose Alvarado, which will add some intrigue to Monday's game. Colin Sexton's late steal and dunk might add a little intrigue to Monday's game, so it'll be fun to do this again on Monday. But just the lethargic opening of the first and third quarters, I'm going to guess, is where Will Hardy starts his press conference tonight. What are your thoughts, Ron?
I don't think there's any doubt that's where he'll start his press conference, and I don't think any doubt that at the halftime he was very upset with the start and let his players know that he did not like the beginning of that first quarter.
So what I didn't like was I thought that the players who were specifically, at least from the minutes played in the first half, the ones that seemed to be, like Scott Morrison at halftime says to us, what was the difference in the first and second quarter? He was like, effort and engagement, and we found a group that was willing to play hard. So that's pretty good indictment on the other guys that didn't play very many minutes. And then I thought the third quarter lacked. Like, I would think that if that had just happened, you would come out in the third quarter and really play. Like, the only phrase I can say is balls to the wall. Like, that's what I would expect you to play. Like, I didn't see that.
Let me back this up just a little bit here and go back to practice this morning. And the shoot-around report that I had was it's more about us than you.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure we're doing the things that we need to do offensively, defensively. They worked on 3-on-3 defense, which is what they thought they were going to see a lot of tonight. And it was like they just couldn't get it done. So I would imagine that the coaches will go back over those types of things and not give up so many points and second, offensive rebounds, those types of things that happen to them.
There is a lot of noise around this team right now. You have guys in and out of lineups and this and that. So in that sense, it does take a great deal of maturity to bring the same kind of focus every night. And that type of juice with all that. So maybe, a slight bit of understanding to that and understand that they have to learn how to do it. And this is one of the skills. And
Exactly.
And that they didn't do it well tonight, so that they'll have to learn that.
Yeah. This is all about, just the growing pains that coaches have to go through it, and headaches, getting upset because if you're making the same mistake over and over, if you're making it in practice, you're going to make it in the game, that type of thing. So this is something that coaches go through with young basketball teams. And that's one of the reasons that one of the best phrases in practice is do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again. So we hear a lot of that, folks.
The interesting one was the numbers in this one by the Pelicans. Their offensive rating in the first quarter was a 168. So they really, that's a pretty clear number. They really got out there and scored about 1.7 points per possession to open that up. All right, well, there were some highlights as the Jazz battled back and fought a little bit, so we'll touch on those. As we continue, today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 when you instantly play $5. That's right. You play $5 and you get $50 right away with basketball season heating up, watching your favorite NBA stars, diehard, or just want some friendly competition. PrizePicks makes it fun. Easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how. Pick more or less at least 2 players for a shot to win up to $1,000 your cash. Think LeBron's going to go drop 30, or maybe Luka's getting more than 8 assists. PrizePicks lets you make your predictions and pick your money where your mouth is in 60 seconds or less. Now's the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 roundup. No need to win, actually. You just get that. That's kind of cool. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel, official sports book of the NFL, with the NFL playoffs here this weekend. Right now, you can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives it to you. Everything you need for live bets, same-day parlays, and much more. Visit the website and share betting lines around the league. Find out which one you want to play. It's all at FanDuel.com. Join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL and of Locked On. All right, the highlight to me, Ron, would be Isaiah Collier's 11 assists, 7 rebounds. I kind of said this the other night. We're giving out reliability pluses. If you can't really ask him to shoot. Like this is not a skill he has. He's gonna have to redo his jump shot and figure it out and learn how to start making shots at a higher percentage. The other stuff is what he can do right now, and he is a really good floor point guard and 11 assists, and he brought juice, and he was a +8 tonight. I'm not sure I'm a big believer in, game out. He was a +8 though tonight in a 20-point loss or in a 13-point loss.
Now his shooting, I'm a believer that sooner or later it gets to the point where he's a threat. I don't know how good he's going or how reliable he's going to be as a shooter, but his floor game will continues to grow. He only had 2 turnovers tonight,
and one of them was really late.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's very, very important as far as setting up his teammates. As you mentioned, 11 assists in 35 minutes, and that means that Will is keeping him on the floor to let him learn. Go out there, make a few mistakes, and he'll look at the stat sheet tonight and say, okay, he took care of the basketball. Only 3 for 10 shooting, and looking at his stats before the ball game, he is scoring in the paint. So he is getting some layups. His outside shooting is still.
He was 3 of 9 though at the rim around the basket tonight, which is. He just hasn't figured out when and where he can get that shot at his size. I mean, I think he's always been quicker and faster than everyone, and he's gotten to the window, and those are shots are there for him. And now on the pro level, there's a second defender coming every time.
Defender, that's very important, David. Yes, absolutely.
By the way, just a note, and we could be wrong on this, unless Will Hardy's going to the podium now. That's a little longer time period than usual for Will Hardy to get to the podium. That seems a little longer. Maybe there was a little more discussion in the locker room today than usual. I'm not sure on that. That was a vibe I had on that one. Drew Eubanks got the assignment on Zion Williamson, and boy, did he earn a lot of respect from everyone tonight.
He learned a lot of respect from me. One particular spot is his ability to block shots. I knew he could jump. I didn't think his timing was that good, but he's definitely protecting the rim, and again, minutes he's getting there. And as you mentioned during the course of the game, he's been a very reliable position player and a rotation player for the most part.
Disappointing night for Cody Williams. Plays 18 minutes. He has 0 points. He has 1 rebound. He has 3 assists. He just cannot figure out how to assert himself on an NBA game.
Well, he picked up those early fouls in that first quarter. There were 2 in the first quarter, and then he picked up 1 in the second quarter, and he just did not stay on the floor and to the point where he can get into a flow. He's not one of those guys that's going to beat you by attacking over and over like Keontae or Colin Sexton or something like that. His game comes in the flow, and minutes is very important for him to be able to do that.
Other rookie Kyle Filipowski, 10 very quiet minutes tonight, -12 for him. So not a great night for the youngsters tonight. Like the Isaiah Collier seems to be just kind of thrusting himself in a different spot than Cody Williams right now. If you want the 3 rookies, Isaiah Collier's making real strides right now, where I really would say the other two are treading water or calling for a life raft, would be the way I would characterize them right now, in the way that they're playing. And I would say it was a fairly exciting night for Bryce Sensabaugh and Keontae George as well. Pretty forgettable for both of them in that. Drew Eubanks, Isaiah Collier,
Yes.
Colin Sexton. Anyone else?
How about Oscar? You know,
You just like Oscar.
yeah, I just hope that he's learns how to stay on the floor, learns what his best asset is. You know, Rudy
don't think he
Gobert type
has-
hands.
I don't think he has
Yeah,
this.
so, but
That's what I want to see. I want to see if he can
let's
really
not
catch.
give him one tonight. Then. Let's not give him one tonight.
Yeah, he's just relentless for the rebounds and all those kind of things. It's pretty awesome.
Now,
Mihailuk,
I just he's all about shooting the basketball.
Mhm.
You know, and he usually has a pretty good night, 6 of 14, 10 3-point shots, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He just
you have to be about as good as Drew Eubanks was tonight for me to give your starting unit any reliability pluses, considering the fact they got run off the floor.
Right.
Ron, did you have a question for Lacey? She seems to be the most active person in the chat room
I
right now.
wanted to know how much she knew about the HBCU.
Just the HBCU or the
Yep.
Divine Nine?
Oh, Divine Nine, yes.
She seems to have listed all of them right here.
There you go.
She might have got them off the internet.
Probably, but
She did mention that maybe you.
no,
She said, "Don't tell him I got him off the internet." He doesn't seem to believe the internet.
way to go, Lacey. I love it.
Wait a sec. I have to know something. This is my word. So I need to know one thing here, Lacey, in your own private show right now. Was this what Will Hardy said in the press conference, or were you having fun with me? Because that is like my favorite word, and I use it all the time. And if Will Hardy used it in the press conference tonight, I'm going to die.
And what word was that, David?
Feckless.
Ah,
I always say that we're feckless, which is really my way of my peak frustration. If I go into vocabulary, okay, no, I used it. Okay. All right, Jazz Fall. We'll be back here Monday. Should be fun to play the same team twice. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. A fairly feckless first quarter by the Jazz. Cost them this one. Have a great one. We'll send you now for the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel on YouTube called Locked On NBA. Check out 7 days a week. Locked On NBA brings you NBA game night. Every game, every night. So make sure you check that out on Locked On NBA. Have a wonderful night, Jazz fans. You're the best. We love you. Well, Ron and I don't love each other, but we love you. Have a good night. Talk to you later.